Hi guys, it's been a while since I did a sit down video. I'm filming from a different camera, so any kind of quality comments and feedback, very, very welcome. So today's video is inspired by a couple of different things. Number one, it is inspired by my not wanting to edit my final Greece vlog. They have been a lot more work than I anticipated. If you haven't seen them already, I will link them below for you, and there is one final one to come. I went on a trip with Celestial Cruises to Greece. It was absolutely amazing, but we're going to touch a little bit on it in a second because I went without my family. And it was the first opportunity like that I've ever had. And so that has also inspired this video in that I kind of want to go over a little bit with you guys something that's asked of me all the time, which is how I balance work and family. Now, this was an extreme situation. This was an unusual situation that I was away from my entire family, as in I didn't even take my husband with me for a week. And because I stayed over in London the night before, I was away for a total of 8 nights, which is the longest I've ever been away from the children at all, because I've been away for a week with my husband before. We haven't done it this year, but previously we kind of tend to do that annually, 1 week, and my mum looks after the children. But I've never done, we always do kind of 6 nights, which covers us, with the travelling either side, a full week away, basically. So I've never been away from the children for as long as this, and I've never been away from Lee, I think maybe 2 nights, which I hadn't really even considered before I went into it. And on one of the first days I was like, oh my God, I felt really weirdly homesick, and I wasn't prepared to feel that way. And previously, when I've done stuff, I've definitely had that kind of mum guilt, mum and wife guilt, I will say, when I've been away, like for the night or for the day. I've definitely felt that many, many times, but I didn't really think it was going to be, hit me as hard how homesick I felt whilst I was there. So yeah, back to the whole point at hand, which is the work-life balance. So I kind of give a bit of a throwaway answer to this whenever I'm asked, because I feel like it kind of answers the question perfectly, which is, it is not just my home life to balance. And so Lee picks up a lot of the slack, to the point where I would now consider him to be the primary caregiver of the children. I don't know whether or not that's not self-deprecating, but I don't know if it's because I feel, I suppose, a little bit self-deprecating, but there's a word that I'm not quite grasping right now, but like an insecurity, I suppose, in me, that I feel like I'm not doing enough. And so I give him that title in my mind, because I kind of have leaned very heavily on the concept in the past that if it's been okay for dads for all of these years to be kind of like the second player and the person who works longer hours and goes to the pub on a weekend, that kind of thing, then why is it not okay for me to do that? Now, it's not something that happens all of the time. This I'm drawing from immediate experience, because I was away on a work trip for a week, and yesterday, when the football was on, I went to have a drink and some lunch with my friend. Now, it was during the day, and the boys went to watch football at someone's house. I wasn't really missing anything, but I had a bit of a meltdown when I came home, because Milo made me, he's very good at choosing his words to make me feel guilty. Now, I am not certain whether or not this is intentional. If it is, he could teach a class on master manipulation, I swear. He's very savvy when it comes to saying the right thing, to kind of push my buttons to make me feel bad about spending any time away. In his mind, his dad would take him to school all the time. He's taken him to school a handful of times because he works a regular 9-to-5 job, and it doesn't work like that. Whereas my job, it tends to be a little bit more flexible. Both my real office job and my YouTube and blogging job are both fairly flexible in hours, and so I'm able to take him to school and pick him up like 90% of the time. But in his mind, the amount of times his dad's done it has been inflated, and the amount of times that I've done things for him has been hugely reduced. So I could spend an entire day playing with him, and then if his dad comes home and plays something with him, then everything has been with daddy. Do you know what I mean? It is a very frustrating thing as a parent to feel like that, because I am constantly plagued by this mum guilt, and so just the smallest amount of pressure on those buttons can really send me over the edge. And I had some other kind of emotional stuff going on recently that I was definitely at tipping point. So I had a bit of a meltdown about it yesterday, and I just thought, I have leaned too hard on this for a long time, this whole it's been okay for dads, blah blah blah. And I think what it is I'm so defensive about that question. I'm so irritated by the fact that someone would ask me how I would balance work and family, and yet they would never ask Lee, that I've kind of flipped it on its head and been like, well, it's fine for men, so why is it not okay for me? But that's not really the way that I feel, because I don't want to be a secondary player in my children's life. I don't think that I am. I think that's definitely something that I have put upon the situation because I feel kind of bad about the fact that I'm not there as often as I feel a mum should be. But I am there all the time. I take him to school 5 days a week. I pick him up 3 times a week. In the summer holidays, I'm there 3 days. It's not, I am actually spending a great deal of time with the children, but something in me makes me feel like when I do spend a day of the weekend away, I feel horribly guilty because I know that he's with his dad, and that's time that he's thinking, mummy's off and mummy doesn't care. And you know, it's such a toxic thing to have inside me, but it's there and it's very difficult to shake. I think that really the honest answer to the question when people talk about the work-life balance is that I was never going to be someone who was fulfilled by having children and that being the be-all and end-all. That was never going to be enough for me. I completely appreciate that it is for other people, and some people it's all they've ever wanted. Now, on that, it is literally all I've ever wanted. I had no ambition in life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wasn't going to be like a big career woman or anything like that. The only ambition that I did have was to be a parent. And so with that in mind, it may seem completely counterintuitive that that was not going to fulfill me on its own, but it wasn't, and I knew that it wasn't. I knew I'd have to have something else. I just didn't know what that something else was going to be. I had Ella when I was 19. It was impossible for me to, don't get me started on people going to university and deciding what they want to do with the rest of their lives as a teenager, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. I wasn't qualified for anything specific. Didn't find YouTube and blogging until I was 26, and I was already ready to be having Milo. And I kind of I did it the other way around. Most people do kind of the life. They have their life, they get themselves settled and sorted, and then they have the children. And I did it the other way around. And so by the time I found something that I really enjoyed doing and that I was passionate about, I already had my family. And so I had instant guilt that every opportunity that I was offered took me away from that family. Any opportunity that I would have had to progress or to grow this thing that I was doing would have encroached on the time that I was spending with my children. And so for a really long time I said no to so many different opportunities. And then once Milo got a little bit older, because he's 6 now, I decided to say yes to things. I do think that I was kind of stalled a little bit by not going with the flow and doing the things that maybe I should have said yes to. But I don't regret that, because I did spend more time at home with the family. But now I'm trying to pursue these things, and I'm saying yes to things, and I'm getting these opportunities that are very difficult to say no to, and I'm feeling even more guilt, because the older the children are, the more vocal they can be about you not being there. It's just a lose-lose situation, because you don't feel happy about these things that you're getting to do. You don't like, oh my god, this is a great thing. Perfect example being the trip that I just went on. Every single day I would try and get a certain amount of work done so that I could kind of reconcile in my mind that guilt that I had and justify the week as a work week if I'd got as much work done as possible. And so every spare moment that we had, I was trying to work on something. I'm writing a book at the moment, which I'll get into that at a later date, but it's taking a lot of time. And so I was trying to write as much as I possibly could whilst I was there, but I was so tired because the little respites that we were allowed in the very, very tightly packed schedule were kind of for rest, and I wasn't really sleeping very much. And so all of the work I was doing was not that great because it was, work on no sleep. And then the work, and then the time I actually had that I was supposed to be enjoying, I was tired, and so I wasn't enjoying it as much as I should have been enjoying it. I also had the guilt, which was tainting the experience. It was completely lose-lose. So you can't enjoy that, but you also are not at home, and so you don't get the credit for either. Outside of the industry that I'm in, I think a lot of people feel this way, because you have people who always knew they just wanted to have children, and they have forgone any kind of high-powered or even any career at all because they wanted to focus 100% on making their children their priority. That's fantastic. Vice versa, the people that always knew they wanted a specific career just didn't have any children. They weren't actually all that bothered about motherhood or parenthood. And so they didn't have children because they wanted to focus on this career because they wanted that to be their priority. But I think there are a lot of people out there, even people just in 9-to-5 regular jobs, feeling completely overwhelmed by the fact that you really can't, it's just almost impossible, always spinning plates, feeling like you're failing at something. It is impossible to have it all. If you're doing well at something, you are failing at something else. That is just the way that it is. Everyone has been told that, especially for women, it is possible to have it all. You can have a family and you can have a fantastic relationship and you can have a great job. Yes, you can have those things, but you can't have them all at once. It will take a miracle for all of the stars to align, for everything to be good, but it won't last. It will be momentary, and then one of the plates will fall, and these things might be going great, but this one's not so great. It is always some kind of juggling act to keep all the balls in the air. I do know of people who seem to have this sussed, and it tends to be people that have kind of a timer on things. And so what I have started doing very recently, and I'm going to share this with you if it works, I'm going to do it more on time management, so there will be a follow-up video if this really works for me, but I kind of just at this moment just want to share the fact that this is not easy, and I'm not an expert, I'm not doing this well, but more how I think everybody feels. And I don't want to come at you with like, it's so easy, we just share this and we share that. No, it's not easy, because even if you are sharing all the housework and you're sharing this and everything's getting done, somewhere someone is feeling bad about something because someone's doing more, or you're not spending much time with this. Something is falling apart somewhere. There's very few people that have got this down. So I just kind of want to put that out there. Most people don't have it, but some people do. And the people that I will listen to are the people that seem super, super organised. And one of those people doesn't have children, but she is a fantastic resource. Someone called Amy Landino. I've watched a lot of her stuff. If you're into motivationally kind of stuff, you'll probably really enjoy her. And she's very, very organised. She talks about calendar blocking. And I've been doing this for a little while with work stuff. So splitting up the day into, this is what I'm going to do today and this is how long it's going to take me. Often things don't take as long as you expect them to, and if you actually time how long it takes for you to do things, then this makes the whole thing easier down the line. You can do this with cleaning the house even, it doesn't have to be work related. But I'm also, ice cream van, it's very hot today, can you tell? Because I'm like, whew. So crazy as it sounds, I'm going to start blocking in time with the children. So much as Ella probably doesn't want to spend time with me, I think there are certain times during a teen's life that they need forcible time with their parents, because even if it's just to sit in the same room with them, they need to know that you're available to talk if they need to talk about anything, because it's very easy to kind of coop yourself up. As an adult, even when you're having a bit of a hard time, it's easy to coop yourself up in your bedroom and not want to talk to anyone about anything. And as a teenager, I think that's even worse. You can spend too much time by yourself, and the more time you spend by yourself, it's kind of like, if you're irritated by everyone, then they don't want you to spend time with them because you don't seem to want to spend time with them. It's not a great cycle to get into with teenagers and to allow them to be by themselves for too long. It's easier for everyone if you just let them spend all the time in the bedroom, but parenting is not supposed to be easy. So I'm going to block in time with the children. For example, for Milo, I'm going to put in an hour before bed. Usually Lee does the bath time routine, but I think if I do a little bit of playtime, the bath time, the reading time, because the reading is kind of my arena, then hopefully we can get into a nice routine at night time where at least I know that I've done the bedtime routine and that hour is mine, and I've spent that time with him and we can talk about stuff that he wants to talk about, and I, for me, will feel kind of fulfilled in that parenting portion of myself, that I've had that chunk of time with him every single day. It definitely is for me more than it is for anybody else, because it's all within your own head. When you've got these paranoias and these strange guilts that you have, you need to reconcile it for yourself more than for anybody else. I can't tell if it's a different van. Are they all different vans? There are definitely people out there that make the whole thing worse. Social media can be a great thing. This is the same with any kind of insecurity that you will have. You will kind of plug into those things that you're worried about and you will see them everywhere. So, like if you feel like you should be going to the gym more often and you're feeling a little bit guilty about the fact that you've eaten that X amount of chocolate bars and you should have maybe done this and maybe done that, then suddenly you're seeing even more Fitspo stuff on your Instagram. Suddenly everywhere you go, everyone's wearing workout gear and looking really fit and making you feel even more guilty. You're kind of picking those things out because that's what's in your mind. And if you're feeling really, really guilty as a parent, suddenly you're seeing all these people who seem to be absolutely fantastic at it and have an amazing balance and just being irritatingly perfect parents, and that you get a lot online. There's a lot of kind of infuriating mummy bloggers. You can really pick and choose, and you can find the right kind of people for yourself to follow to make you feel good rather than bad. But I think the worst people, they don't have to be mummy bloggers, but the worst people for me that really irritate me are the people that say that they're doing everything for their children, because it's a barefaced lie. I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. You could be, I mean, there are people in the world that do things genuinely just to provide for their families. Chances are they're not on social media. The people that I'm talking about they tend to be bloggers or kind of entrepreneurs and people that are spending a lot of their time on their companies or on themselves, on their empires. And I understand why they're saying this, because it's the same way as me justifying the fact that I spend time away from my family to further my own interests and fulfill myself, is to say, you know, oh, well, you know, dads have been doing this forever, blah, blah, blah. That was my party line, because it was an easier defence than being honest and just saying, look, I need fulfilment outside of the house and outside of my family. Same deal. These people are telling you that, oh, I'm not doing this for me. This is not a selfish act. I'm doing this for them. Everything that I'm doing, you know, I'm spending days away from them for them. It's not true. It's not true. Maybe it's something that you enjoy. Maybe it's because you're very successful at it. Maybe it's because you're chasing a certain amount of money, because you'll feel fulfilled if you get that. Yeah, okay, maybe you're providing for your family and financial security is a big thing, but I just refuse to believe that you're doing it all for the children. And I think if we were all a little bit more honest, then we'd all feel a bit more secure in ourselves. In the same way as every other facet of our lives can make us feel terrible when we see other people pretending it's easy. I spend no time at the gym. I just, take the stairs everywhere, when you know they're spending 5 hours in the gym every day with a personal trainer. It's just not a great thing to tell people that, well, just to lie. It's just not a great thing, is it? It's difficult to be candid and honest. You are setting yourself up for a lot of criticism. Lots of people may watch this and think, I'm terrible for not being fulfilled by my children. But I'm going to be honest with you, because I know that there are people watching this that feel the same way, that maybe daren't tell anyone else that they feel the same way. Well, let me tell you, we're not alone. I don't think that all that many people feel 100% fulfilled by being a parent, and that's it. Even stay-at-home parents who all they've ever wanted is to be a mom or to be a dad, I still feel like at the end of the day, because children can zap so much from you, like take up so much of your energy at every single age. You go from not sleeping very well at night time to kind of teenagers that have got their own kind of emotionally type things going on, and it takes so much from you. Sometimes you don't have anything left for yourself, and even those people who are being 100% fulfilled by being a parent, it's still taking that little bit extra from you that you weren't expecting, and you do need something left over just to be a human. So I just wish that there was a little bit more honesty about the fact that we all do need something else. We do, no matter how big or small that might be. But to conclude, and is it possible that we have another ice cream van? I think it is. I don't have the balance. I don't know whether or not I ever will. Everything is done. All the boxes are ticked, but they're not all ticked by one person, and nor should they be. It's all me, the guilt and the insecurities around parenting. It's all me and in my mind. Even if Milo is a master manipulator, which remains to be seen, it is all in my mind. And so the suggestion that I'm making to myself is to tick that box every single day and make sure that I know I have spent this chunk of time with each of the children. So no matter what, I know that if I'm feeling bad one particular day, that I have done that. I have had my little routine. I have had my bedtime time with him. I have said, yes, we will play. I have done the bath time, and I have kind of ticked that mum box. Maybe it should be more than that. Maybe I should be dedicating my entire life to the children, but I'm just not going to do that. And so this is my solution. I would love to hear from those of you who feel like any of you, to be honest, but those of you who feel like you've got it, you've done it perfectly. But I'd also love to hear from those of you who feel like I do. What do you do to make yourself feel like you've kind of got all your ducks in a row? What is it? How do you do it? Because there will be a time today when Milo will come home and I'm editing this video and I have to say, I will do a hug and a kiss and welcome him home, but I have to say to him, I can't do it right now, I'm working. Will it ever get better? Will I ever not feel bad about that? I don't know. But I would love to hear from you what you think. Preferably not from those of you. I'd rather not have any criticism from those of you that don't have children. But hey, who can avoid it? But I would like kind of a discussion in the comments because it's such a volatile topic. It's something that people feel very passionately about. And everyone does it so differently. I am never going to tell you that I have the right way of doing things, but I get asked a lot about this. So I thought I would make as honest a video as I could, just to kind of say, look, I don't have this figured out. I don't think many people do, but maybe let's talk about it and see how everybody else deals with it. I think the comment section is going to be great on this one. So thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing me to procrastinate and not edit that last Greece vlog just yet, but it probably will be the next video. And oh, have you been following IGTV? I have uploaded a couple of videos there, so check that out. I've also been, this is hilarious, this is a great way to round off this video, I've also been nominated for a Parenting Influencer Award, and I just think this will be major lols to lord over Lee, the primary caregiver, if I win any kind of parenting award. So if you'd like to nominate me, if you'd like to vote for that, I think it would be hilarious to win, especially because I've never considered myself to be a parenting influencer at all, but apparently I am because I'm a parent and I'm an influencer. So yeah, for lols, if you want to vote for me, that'd be great. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!